Okay, guys. So take notes if you have to. Stop me if you anything is not clear. What we're doing right now is that we're going to look at your homework, and I'll do it together with you, so you have an idea of how to get started on your project. So at the end of this class, you can actually go home and get started by yourself. You will run into things you haven't known, and that's why you ask questions. Okay. So what's homework 1? It's due before the day before the lecture, so Sunday next week, and we give you a very similar to pre-work. We give you a README file, okay, and it's just a restaurant website, simple, a page where you can filter, find food, and a contact us page. And so there's some required stories listed here. We'll work on them from bottom and down. Right, so I have a README file. The first step I'm doing is to get the raw text, copy, and I go and start a project. So normally when you start a project in Rails, you all know, right? To put a Rails new, I don't know, maybe you call whatever you like, pick some restaurant you like, maybe implement the same restaurant that they have, up to you. Let's say I just called a non-restaurant, and because the default database is SQLite, we want to all use PostgreSQL actually. Okay, use PostgreSQL because you can push to Hwk, you can share together all the same. So don't be lazy, right? Database. In Unix, you do -- database equal, or the Linux way, or like you can just do that. It's the same, right? It's a short and same thing with a lot of places like username equal. That's for Postgres. Anyway, so I do this and press enter. It create a new project for me. I already did that, so it's in non here, right? Now you asked to use RVM. Raise your hand if you know what RVM is. Ruby Version Manager. So it's easy for you to upgrade Ruby. So like by next week I should use Ruby 4 maybe because it's newer, nicer. But for now, I can do this, but you'll have to wait a long time. So I'm just gonna use what I have, and then you can just say, hey, let's use this as default, right? This is what I use as default. All good. So I finished running this Rails thing, and here's what I have. What's the next step? I do git init, right? Everyone has to learn git init, right? So this is just a shortcut. Git commit dash all. So I'll just add first commit. Make sense? Oh, I have to add everything first. So git add, right? And then I'm just being lazy. I add them and then I just commit. So git log. So first commit. So next is I'm going to edit the README file. The one Rails give me is not, it's not useful for our purpose. Let's delete them all, and I paste what I just copied from the website. So Coder School, Coder Restaurant, maybe I'll just call it non-restaurant. Update a little bit. This is my name, and I don't have this stuff here yet. So let's start working on the very first task. User must be able to go to 2 pages, right? Okay, how do we do that? First, let's git status. Oh, I made some changes, right? Change here, so I'm just gonna commit, say, update README. Commit often, so we can have the backup. All right, user go to 2 pages, menu, and contact us. Well, first I need to see if I can run a Rails server, right? So I run Rails server, but when I run, what happened? It will complain the database is missing. So I have to do Rails DB create first. So what does it do? Ignore the test one. It always copy this table schema into this test schema as well to make it easy to test. So what does it do? In your config here, there's a database YAML file, and under this database YAML file, there's a setting for development. So here, convention over configuration, right? Name of your app _ development. And then what username for PostgreSQL? It just use whatever I am here. This is my Postgres username, and then this user account can create a database. So when you set up and you run DB create or Rails DB create now, from Rails 5, you can use Rails instead of break. If it doesn't work, you have to set up your Postgres properly. For some people, you might have to set up like, you're like, I give up. I just set up like, username here is PostgreSQL or something. For some databases like that. But the idea, I don't like to change this file because I want you to be able to run my code. So it's better not to change it, but it's up to you, okay? So let's see. Very quickly, PostgreSQL, double check that. This just means don't worry about it, like how many threads can access the database at the same time. But this database here, it runs on localhost database. So here, that's the default value. So nothing to worry about. Postgres always this port. So basically, Rails DB create finish. Now, if you do Rails DB migrate, that's nothing anyway, right? Because I haven't run anything. So let's go to this over here. I run localhost. All right, localhost. Okay, what do we have here? Localhost, just localhost. All right, yay, you're on Rails. This page does not reside on your app. It's just a dynamic page, so we have to put something on it. What's our home page? Where do we want to put the code, guys? Go to routes. Oops. Here, right? This Rails, root. Define a root path. Let's say maybe I just go to home controller index action, right? So you now know this thing is controller pound action. That's a very common convention in the word. So Rails generate controller home index action. Okay. Maybe I also want contact us action. This is the contact us page, right? Maybe a menu page, but maybe not. Let's not. All right. So what is new? It create a few files. When you generate, you see that it create a home controller. It update. Usually this is quite useless. I will go and actually remove them in routes. And then it also create them ERB files. So if you set up Slim or Haml, it would change to the right files. Helper file. The helper files where you can define methods to use in your view. So that's okay. Nothing seems too crazy. What to do next? Home index. So actually, maybe this view is a little hard to see. I'll just use the entire screen, make it a little smaller. All right. What we just did, we have home controller in here, right? Home controller, and it's the index here. So that's the root. Let's go and run this guy and see what happens. All right, find me in this path because it already generated you the file. This time I go here, but next time I jump directly there. Views, home, index. So far you see that it's very easy to find anything. Okay, so what should we do in here? Welcome to Hwk1 restaurant. And then, all right, I have to do something. So what is it? User must be able to go to 2 pages. So let's do some link. Okay, so in Rails you can do this: link to menu, and then there's a path. So maybe you go to /menu, and then you also do link to contact us. For now, I just do contact us. Remember, I do this contact us. All right, so maybe let's define the contact us path. So you see, Rails generator uses, but it doesn't look very pretty, right? What you want is just get contact us. User doesn't need to see that. You see this? This is the default convention. But what you want is you say go to home contact us. All right, does it make sense? So your custom, you now have a custom route, because otherwise this is the same as having, let's say this guy over here and like that, right? So this page, I don't need it. Contact us, fine. But because you have this contact us, you can actually use it as, you cannot see from my contact us path. So it's quite nice because if you write the wrong name, you run the file, it will actually fail to prevent you from making some mistake. Alright, maybe let's see what we have over here. Alright, menu and contact us. So seems like I have the first README file here. User must be able to go to 2 pages, menu, and contact us. Well, I'm cheating a little bit. There's not much to do here. Those 2 pages don't exist. I'll just add everything for now. So, home page, nothing much. I want to use Bootstrap because let's make it look prettier. How do you use Bootstrap? Ruby gems, or actually just search Ruby Bootstrap. And I'm going to use Bootstrap 4. Where is it? Here. Bootstrap Ruby gem. It's still in alpha. It's so funny. But I get this file. Go to our gem file. Whoops. And just add it. This is up to you, but you can add it maybe at the end here. Run bundle, install. Bundle and bundle install is the same thing. Right? It's short for that. Oh, I have Bootstrap installed. So what is the instruction? To say first, convert your file into SCSS. So you can use some fancy syntax like import. Let's do that. So I move file, application, style sheet. This file right here, CSS now need to become what? SCSS, right? So I'm just being lazy here. So now you see that this file is now deleted and created here. Let's go to that application SCSS file. Remove everything. Import Bootstrap. And this Bootstrap is provided by the gem. Okay? So let's run the server again. And if you run this guy, server. Do you see the font? It's different, right? Because we have Bootstrap now. So that's better, but now we have to read up on Bootstrap, what is cool about it. So Twitter, Bootstrap, and this is the page. Documentation, what do we need? We look at components we use on our front end. What is the first component we need? Maybe let's add a navigation bar. Okay, so go down here. It looks like this, so I'll just copy and paste this entire thing and simplify it later. Whoops. Where is it? Here. Navigation bar. Where do we put the navigation bar? In the index file or not? There's an application layout file. View, right? Whoops. View, layout, application layout. You see yield, everything in yield it comes from your home index stuff. So where do I put this? I will put it in a file here. It's called a navbar. I don't want this file to be too big. I want it to be easy to see, so I just render it from a different page. I call it navbar. Okay? So it's called a partial. Alright? So if I do this right now and render, it will complain that this thing doesn't exist. It try to find it from home navbar, application navbar kind of thing. So let's create that file. App, views, application, maybe let's put it in layouts, yeah? Underscore navbar, because we don't want to use it by itself. Navbar html.erb. Just create this file, copy and paste all that stuff in, save it, and up here, just to be sure, just be clear where it is, layout/navbar. So you run it now. Oh, I have some navbar, but what happens? What happens? Uh-oh, different version of Bootstrap? All right. What is this Bootstrap? Oh yeah. See, thank you very much. I totally made a mistake there. So, documentation, and where's the navbar? Yeah, under component. This is quite silly, but you can also search navbar here. Oh, it's shorter, thank God. Okay, let's go back to this guy. That we're using the latest bootstrap, right? Delete all of this one more time, paste this file in, save, and then this. All right, looks like navbar. The screen is very bright right now, so it's hard for you to see, but you know, it looks like this, right? Right now, if you, it's responsive, so when the screen is small enough, it becomes a hamburger menu. But we don't have JavaScript yet, so it doesn't work. So let's include JavaScript. Where is the instruction for that Ruby gem thing? Did I just, where's that? Oh, I can't find it. Let's just use one browser. Here, Ruby, Bootstrap. You be patient and read through it, alright? So I already did this stuff, CSS, but here, JavaScript, I need to include jQuery and Bootstrap Sprocket. Sprocket is just the guy that include all the other Bootstrap stuff. So let's go to that JavaScript file, application.js. Again, actually this one I'm going to keep, okay, make it easier to see. I keep them. jQuery, EUJS, TurboLink. I just removed the last guy. This guy automatically remove anything under the sun. I actually don't like it, but you know. So for your homework, just remove them. So I keep jQuery. I just add Bootstrap. The goal here, you add these three things, and then you add all the libraries you need, and then you add your own library at the bottom after everyone else. Okay, so I have Bootstrap, and then, well, it's funny, but locally it does include tether by default, so some of you may have run into this problem. Let's just follow the instruction here. Also include tether, right? So it's include this guy in here and run bundle, Rails asset tether, and I also need to require tether. I think this guy just used tether by default, so if it doesn't work, we may have to do require. I think we just require tether here. I don't trust them to do it, but up to you. If it works, you know, let's see. Go back to this page. All right. Why does it cause the problem? You know, the error. When you install a new gem, you have to restart Rails because it doesn't load the new files unless you restart it. So I restart. Tether gem is installed. Let's just skip this guy on the left hand side. Looks good, right? Alright. Skip 2/3. This guy is over here. Alright, so it looks still a little ugly. Let's make it not, you know. How can we make it better? One thing you can make it immediately better is go to layout and put the whole thing here under container. Okay? You can do container fluid if you just want a small margin on the right, or just container to keep it in the center. So I put container and wrap around this guy. So yield is in the middle. So everything will just fall inside, you see? And if I feel like I want this container around the navbar as well, then I just put it here. So then you see, okay, this guy's inside. Well, okay, it's a bit darker. But I want this navbar gray thing to be outside. So I don't want this container to be like that, but I go into this navbar and maybe I can set like container between these guys. I don't know. For now, I don't care. This is some basic setup. So we have these files. Let's see what we have done. I add bootstrap gem, tether. This is just generated gemfile.log. See application.js, application.css. There's now not yet. Where is it? I already set up in the previous commit. But yeah, that's it. So here's a setup. Bootstrap, you know, JS. All right. Let's go build something. We're still too slow. So readme must see address and phone number on the contact us page. Oh, that's easy. Let's click contact us here. Let's go to contact us page. Where is it? View home contact us here, right? So maybe just saying on restaurant, and we use some bootstrap here. Let's say I have a row container. Inside I have a column 6. So maybe I have one column, let's just say small 6. I have 2 of them. So this is some quick shortcut, but it looks like this. And then on the left hand side, I'll just put up, you know, maybe an address block. What's going on? You know, strong on restaurant. Whoop. And then address will be like Vincom Tower. You can style it later, right? And something like, you know, 26. And so you can finish. You can make it more creative here. What do we put on the right hand side? It looks like that. It's a little ugly, so maybe add a BR here as well. If you like, you can wrap the whole thing under a card like that, and it just add a border to it like that. And then on the other side, we want a map. So I'm going to just Google Maps. So maybe this is where we are, Vincom, this one. Come on, it's a little slow. It's fine. Here's you can embed a map using iframe. It's possible to set up the width, the height, and make it play nice with your screen. But for now, I just add the iframe code right in here. You can change some attributes here, you know, but this is too long. At the end, it looks something like that. You know, you can change some of the attributes, height, width, and everything. So for example, I just say width is 100%. You know, why? It takes half of my screen. If called small means from small screen to large screen, it's always half, because the whole thing is 12 columns, so it's 6. But if it's phone screen, it's tiny, then this whole thing becomes the whole block. So let's see here. Oh, that's cool. It looks like a real restaurant business, right? Someone click here. Oh, I know how to get there. Add some phone number and stuff. But what I did was that I add these 2 things. So I say add contact page. Now, I tend to write just a verb and then something you do. There's no need to say added. Come on. Who doesn't know you did it in the past? It's not a future thing, right? So you say you add something. Just make it clear. And treat it like an email. So the commit message, you write short enough. Don't write like blah, 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 like 10 different lines. When you do that, you actually want to write it using the dialog. Like I do verbose, which is down here. It shows me all the changes. But here, the first line is like add, you know, contact us page. And then down, you can do the whole like essay down here if you want. This is how to write good commit messages in a big commit. But in small commit, you know, you can ignore. It's almost like write a one-liner email, right? If you notice, let's say over here, if I start writing in my setup, you see the white text? It means my commit is too long. And if it's too long on GitHub, it will look very ugly as well. You will see there's a dot, 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 dot everywhere, right? All right, so I don't want to save that.
How did you set up your highlighting in your terminal?
That's I can tell you about that later. Yeah, there's just many tools that you can just set up the terminal quickly. So I finished this. Let's see that's cool. Let's start doing the next one. Navigate to 4th section. Okay. Did I finish everything? Oh, I need to do a commit, add contact us page. Okay. Git log. Create a good habit, right? You're telling a story here. Right? My stories I'm implementing one by one. So go back here. I need this thing, food 4th section. Okay, let's think about it. The database design. The next object we need, next type of thing we need to have is food item. It's like, you know, what's on the menu. They have name and stuff, and then there's a field called section. Right? Section here just means what meal, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, suppers, happy hour. Right? Let's have these 4. Now, if you can, one way is to create this food item and then just have these guys as name column. Make sense? But because we're learning out, maybe I want to make it flexible to add more section. So we do it the harder way. Let's create section model. Let's use Rails generate what? Model. Okay, great. Rails generate model is one good way. I think we just need model, nothing else. Don't use scaffold for this stuff. It's too much. Yeah? Model section. What do you need in a section? Name. That's it, right? Yeah? Okay, maybe just name. And what's the next step? What's the next step, guys? DB migrate. Yeah? But before you do that, it's a good habit. Just make sure, you know, again, convention over configurations. You don't have to check, but it's good to know what it's doing. It creates a migration file, and this is what it does. It creates a string column called name. And I'm like, maybe make this like index true. So I'm like, all the names should be unique, and if you search for breakfast, it should go very fast. Technically, this table is so small, you don't need to create an index. But that's just showing you some thinking, right? All right, let's migrate this. We have that, but we have no section in the database. Where do we put the section? You see the seeds file? Yeah? So what I'm doing is, you see instruction here, but I'm like, okay, maybe if section.count is 0, if I have no section yet, right? You know, maybe else like put you already have some section, right? Data or something like that. And if not, then I have like, what's that? Breakfast, dinner, blah blah, right? Now in Ruby you see this a lot. People have to write that a lot, so they write this: breakfast, lunch, dinner, what else? Drinks. It's quite stupid. I don't know why it's, you know, like that, but it's okay. It's the same as an array of string. And then here is name. All right, let's make it a little smaller. Is that enough? And you see a block is like that. So what can I do inside this block? Section dot create name. Yeah. And if you want it to just be really safe, like bang means if you create and then there's an error, it will crash. If you create but it cannot save to the database, if you do this, it doesn't crash. It's just quiet. It just returns an unsaved object. In this case, I want it to crash. So I'm like, let's make sure it's like that. Yeah. So cool. So let's say now I run Rails DB seed. The first time I run it, cool. Well, how do I know it worked or not? Right? So I go, it actually ran. Because I proved to you not run. Right now, if I run DB seed again, what happens? It will say you already have some section data. Cool, huh? So maybe you want to make it easier for the next guy seeding, you know, section data. Make it look really cool like that. But let's go to Rails console here, and then section.count is 4, section.all, all these guys. But it's how do I see it? You can say map all the name thing. Oh, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks. You see how fast Ruby is? Like, oh, that's cool. I have all this, you know, section already. Can navigate with 4 sections. Now we have to display it. So let's go here and actually display that. So maybe this menu page can just be, I don't know. What do you want to do? Maybe menu controller, maybe section controller. So let's do, it's up to you. It's tricky, but just make a decision and go with it. I'm being lazy. I just do a menu page in home, okay? And go to the route and then do get menu, go to home menu, right? What's in the menu? So let's get all the section first. Is that okay? Section.all. Make sense? And then homepage. Homepage here. Now I can actually change this guy back to menu path. Yeah. And maybe make it a button. Yeah. So button secondary. I do the same thing for this guy. Whoops. So class button second, because that's the bootstrap way. And then maybe I wrap this whole thing in Jumbotron. Oh, is it called Hero? I think it's called Hero. I don't know. Let's see. And then just go to this. Oh, it looks like that. Okay, a little bit better. Then you can set color, and then you can divide this in half and maybe put some picture here, up to you, okay? So menu is like that. Click here, it goes to menu. It complains because I have no template, so I have to create it. Add view home menu dot what? HTML.erb. Yeah? Alright, so this is the menu page. Refresh. That's cool, I have a menu, but I need 4 buttons, right? Alright, so how do I do it? Sections.each do section. In here, what do I display? Just to say button group. So we call this button secondary here. And actually, what should I do? I go button group means I should go check this guy out and search for the word button group. Whoops. It looks like this, so you can select, you know, different meal, right? So button group is quite simple. Just have a button and then button group here. Alright, so I can do that. I have this guy called button group. It's outside, like this. Down here I have, you know, this guy's N. In here, we just do for link. Link to what? Section.name. This path. Let's do some path here. So maybe, I don't know, go back to menu path maybe and pass in the section. And then you can pass section name or section.id. I just pass section ID for now. Okay. Looks fine. And then add a class called button secondary. It's just, you can do any color, right? So, okay. Does that look okay to you guys? And in Rails, everything we just try to use 2 spaces, okay? Like, okay, just get used to it. You're like, what? But, you know, it's just easier for everyone. All right, cool. So I can click on this guy and then go here. When I click on it, I want it to stay active, right? So let's just make a quick change. Here, you see this. I have 2 links here. I just changed the surrounding to maybe this because I can do the 3rd class name. I do active if, if what? This thing up here is called section. Yeah. So maybe param section. So that's how you get that name up here. Okay. Equals what? Section.id. Okay, there's a problem here. Param section is a string, so you actually need to do a 2s here. Okay? Alright, so I'll just do this right now. Hey, look at that. So instead of, you know, maybe active, I can even do this. Just button, and then I just do if this link, this guy. Alright, this is now you're learning a ternary operator. If this is true, you do button primary. If it's false, you do button secondary. Alright, that's cool. Now I have the button. It means up here, if params section exists, okay? So you can say if it's present. It just means present here is the Rails thing, so be careful. Present, check for empty string as well. So if someone pass, you know, section like that, it will just be a nil, you know, some like maybe just pass empty string like something like that. So we want to say, hey, only if it's really something. So present, right? So then you have, it's called like, maybe it calls current section is section.find params. So you can say finds params section. If you like, you can pass in a section ID to make it clearer. I actually do like passing it as ID, but you know, everything is ID here. So down here, new path here, ID. Alright, let's try it. I also want, maybe click on this guy, it should go to home page. So let's go to navbar. Where's that navbar thing? So change this guy to ngon. And now, one way is to use link to, but I can just, here I can be lazy and use the Ruby way here. root path. All right, so I have this guy. I can just click on to go back home page, menu, breakfast. You see section ID, lunch, dinner. Now down here we need to display food items, like what's in our menu. That's next. But before we do that, we will mark here. User can see address. You see Google Map, navigate, go to these places. Yeah, 5 food item in each section. We're gonna do that next. But let's see what we have done. All right. I uploaded, add some seed data. You can even include in here some like maybe implemented like tech nodes, I like to be really thorough. And then like to seed data, just, with Rails DBC. Just be like helpful. Okay, so, maybe do this after the user stories. Just do it like notes here. Okay, good. I have notes, so good. So, all right. What did we just do? Add section, add views for add section filter, right on menu page. All right. Now we need food. Okay, and with each food item should have the following field. And you're thinking, oh my God. I have to create seed data for all these food. There's a lot of stuff. Maybe let's just go the lazy way. I'll use scaffold. Maybe the only time I ever use scaffold. Just Rails generate scaffold. What? Food item. So Rails is really smart. You can say food item, no problem. Food item, no problem. Yeah. So name is string. So this is already the default. Most columns are string anyway, so just do that. Price is not string, something like decimal. Yeah, maybe integer if it's US dollars. No, Vietnam is integer, but US is decimal. Dollars, right? But Vietnam is like $500,000. So price description. Now description is actually a text field because you want more text than just a standard, short string. Section, do we want to do section string? No, what do we do? Section ID, integer, right? Yeah, so you can do that, or you can do section references, and it will do section underscore ID, integer under the scene, and also it add belongs to section in food item. Okay? Only for Rails generate, not for migration. This is just for model. Image URL. Okay, image URL. It's a string? Yeah, so leave it as that. Okay, I think that's cool. Add that. Whoa, it's a bit too much, right? Let's accept it, but try to understand every single file in here, right? It's not that hard. What happens? It gives you a new thing in here. That's cool. Resources, food items, and all the controller and view file. Let's take advantage of that. Then let's go to migration file and see. Oh, okay, it do references here, but under the hood is just section ID, and it also does the index. Foreign key check. So remember now our schema we have after we migrate we have sections here. Rails always add these automated columns. So but here you see here section ID integer, and then down here there's a foreign key section. So it just understand that if you remove a section and then there's some food items that have connection to this section, the section ID, the database will crash. Yeah, to protect your data. All right, so after you generate a scaffold, you have something like food items. Okay, how do I know this? If you go to /rails/info, you can see all the routes has run so far, and it's very fast. You can run it Rails routes in the terminal, but it's slower. We have our path here. Suddenly you have like all this extra stuff. So try to understand resources, food items, give you all this, a get request to the index path. You see all this is the action, right? And then there's a post request to the same path, but it's post and go to index action, create action. then new input, and this is the route name, route path you can use in your code. I use scaffold because I now can create food items without going to the database. It looks like this. Quite ugly, right? You can go and change the what's that? You can go and change the view code to include the bootstrap styling. But I don't care because the assignment needs some food in there. So you can just manually input for now. I don't need to check this view. So let's enter some food item. Pho, delicious, Vietnamese, noodle, currency, let's say Vietnam dong for now, so 30,000, section. Oh, come on, you know, that's not cool. I need a section ID here. So the scaffold generator is not good enough. So what do? I can probably change it. Where's the file? App, views, down here there's a food item, and then under it is this. That's a new, right? You notice new food item, what we're looking at here, it render form. So go into form. Oh my god, but you can actually learn a little bit here. Section ID here, label section ID text field. I actually don't like this text field thing. It actually should be select. Change it a little bit, yeah? Select, and you're like, but how do I use select? You can just Google it, but maybe I go to api.rails, select, and then there's so many, but there's something under form. Oh, look! f.select. When you zoom in, let's try again. Here, select ID, and then you take the object. Collect is the same as map, but then you have pairs of name and ID, and include blank true, blah blah blah. Okay, I don't need include blank, so I do section.all dot collect, which is the same as map. Yeah, up to you. And this is an element, e.name, e.id. Okay, so you pass this into your select. See that? I don't need include blank. So let's try again. Oh, look. So this is name and everything. Obviously, you know, the ideal way is to change this into form group. And then, whoops, you know, you change this into something like form control for each one of them. Then it'll look a lot better. I think I need, this one is a bit weird. You need like an extra, and then it looks like this, a lot better. Yeah. If you want it the same line, then you have to use form inline. Oh, form group. All right. So form group, I add a little extra padding. So that's cool. What's next? What if I give it no image? So maybe pho, Vietnamese, noodle, soup, price 12,000. Create, yeah? Yeah? Alright, so I'm going to do one more thing. Show you validation. Food item. Where's my food item model? Okay, here. Belongs to section. In Rails 5, this is required. If you don't want this, sometimes you don't have section, sometimes you have it, then you have to do like optional true. Otherwise, you know. So it's like that. But I also want food items, I want to validate name, price, presence is true. Yeah? Is that okay? Okay, so if I don't have price here, I press enter and then that price cannot be blank. You can even do crazy thing like validates price, and then numericality, and then you can say like, you know, greater than this number, less than that number, has this much decimal place. You can check Rails validation, it has everything. Okay, so maybe add some price in here. Press enter. That's cool. I have this section. It display a bit weird here because it doesn't know how to convert a section into a string. Because the view code is, you know, show. This is under show. Whoops. You see down here, it just show section like this. So one way is for you to go down to this line and change it to .name. Yeah? Or you're like, what if it's nil and all that? Okay, fine, just do .section. But then you can convert, go to section, and then just define how to do it to string and just do name here. Yeah, and then you can even do like, you know, if name doesn't exist, you can display no name, you know, something like that. But I think this is enough. Same effect. Cool. So I have one thing there. Let's create one more. Food item name and then pun chakra or something like that. Yeah, and also maybe 10,000. Oh, not for breakfast. Ah, so okay, go edit, change it to lunch, dinner. Okay, update. Cool. I have food items. What I need to do is on my menu page, I need to display them. Yeah. All right. How do we do that? Let's display this guy. View. When you go to this page, it's like menu, right? Is it here? Okay. Do you still remember what happens in controller? Controller, you have current section here. So maybe you can say if current section. If you do this, that's a local variable. It will crash. But I'm using an instance variable, right? Local variable in the view only. Instance variable are those I declare from the controller. So if this happens, then you want to display the food, right? Maybe you can do it in a table format. Should we do it in a table format? Or maybe you can, yeah, use cart, line item, group. I'll just do table for now, yeah? Table, what's in it? Maybe T-body. Normally you put it in T-body, use T-head, T-body. And then current section.fooditems.each. And then maybe you can call item here. And it's in TR. And then maybe TD here. Name is item.name. Here is what? Item.price. But then you also have Rails helper, number to currency, something like that. And you can set up the currency. But for now, maybe it just show up as dollar. Quite silly. Maybe item.image. Yeah? So, breakfast. What happens? It doesn't know what food item is, right? What did I do here? Current section.food items. So you have to go to section and you have to define what? As many? What? Food items. You normally also add this dependent destroy, means if you destroy my section, you destroy all the food items so that you have, you know, good database record. Okay, that looks alright. Let's go back to this page and maybe add this is a T-body, not yeah. So this is T-body. Let's add a T-head. These two are quite useless, but you know, it's just the right structure. Now, again, every row and then head. If you want it to be strong character, you use table heading, T-head. So this is name, price, maybe image. To be honest, I start to not like this. Maybe, you see, you can do food items here, or I think this is fine. If there's no food current section, what do you display? I just say alert. Please select a section. It's up to you. If you want to display all the food menu, that's fine. So now if I do this one now, go to menu, please select a section, and then I increase that. There's nothing for lunch, there's something for dinner. Cool, right? Now, image. Here's what it say. Where is it? You can actually do something like, it's Lauren Picker, and then you pass in some image search. It gives you the word, the image for that word. That's like a lazy way. Obviously, I can go and create my pho. I can do like pho image, not photo. And then, you know, I can choose one. So let's do that for one. This one. View image. This is the long-winded way, right? JPEG file. All right, let's do that. Go to localhost/food items. Edit this guy. And paste in this URL. Cool. And now go back to this page. this is the URL. So my code now, you see this item URL, yeah? I would do what? Image tag. And you should probably set some max width so it doesn't become like crazy big. Now, what if I go here, dinner, and then there's nothing in there? I want it to be smarter. So I want to do this. Image URL or default. What is that? Image URL or default. It's a virtual column, right? It's a virtual attribute. So I go to food item. If you run it now, it will crash and say the method doesn't exist. Image URL or default. And if image URL exists, then I keep it. If it doesn't exist, I use that, you know, lorem picker, this one. Alright, so I just do this, image URL or this. Yeah? Maybe make it very clear this is HTTP. Now instead of canh chua, you can actually put name. Yeah? Well, sometimes in the name you have like blank space and stuff, so you can actually do parameterize. Okay, so but maybe just name. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Or you can just say remove all the space with nothing. Yeah, just make it like clearer. So let's see what we have. Now this image URL is a blank string. It's not nil. So this is still evaluated to true. It's still evaluated to true. So Rails provide a method. Okay, it's a bit tricky, but it's like checking for the present. And this one will return nil if it's empty. Alright, you guys look at me. It's like, what the hell is that? So this means if this exists, then you return image URL. If not, this is the long way to do it. Okay, so you see how people love using Rails? Because normally a Java programmer will write these 4 lines. But also, to be clear, it's more like this is like, oh, if it's not nil, right? And if it's not blank, so blank is okay, it's an empty string. So this get converted to present question mark. So already nice. And then this whole thing can convert to this because there's a presence method. Dealing with string happens a lot, so sometimes. Okay, so what's doing here? Alright, so for some reason Bunchaka give you this. Alright, and this is the default image. So I already have these guys added. Yeah? So then you can add the filter, but you already know how to use params, correct? So in your pre-work, it's quite similar, and there's some video hinting here you guys can watch. And there's an order system. This is a little tricky. Okay, so think carefully. If I want to add an order, so I'll show you this and we can go. If I add an order button here, let's do it very quickly. I'll just add commit this over here. What have we done? We added what? Add view under show food items under each section, right? Okay, so next I want to implement the order system. So menu, home/menu. Let's say I have link to add to order. And you're like, where should it go? Yeah, we need to think, if I order something, where should it go? So for your homework, week 1, if you're not used to this thing, start with adding order for this one food item. You don't have a cart and then add things to cart and then you check out. That's a bit complicated, yeah? So start with something simple first. So maybe you like, new order path. You make up something like that. It means you think, I have an order model, yeah? So if I do it now, it will crash saying, I don't know what new order path is. So I go, in the route, it probably will, you need something like resources, what? Orders. But it needs to do that, then you need what? Rail generate model. Yeah. So there's one more generator you can learn is resource. So you say, I have an order, a food item references. You learned that already. Quantity. That's nice. I can support some quantity. What else? What else in the order? Maybe you can do like discount code or something like that. I don't know. For now, that's okay. I have an order. Let's see what it generates. Not scaffold, right? It generate controller, just helper, and resources here. Usually resources good. So I double check this file. Okay, good. It checked that I already have this line, so it didn't include it. That's good. Now save, run Rails server again. What did I do? I generated the Rails order. Did I migrate? Did I migrate? I don't know. If I didn't, it will complain. So migration pending. Okay, run migration. Next, this is how you pass extra information. I show you two ways to do it. Wait, come on. A little slow. Add to order. So you want this again converted to some bootstrap thing, right? Order/new. I'm like, what are you ordering? You need to give me the item ID, right? So in your file here, you can say food item what? ID. And then you pass in item.id, right? Yeah? Alright, let's try again. If you show this page, click here. Food items ID. It's nice. Action, okay, you know, action new is not found. Let's do it ourselves. Orders controller, there's nothing here. And implementing the new method, create the new file. So then you can say order for, for what? Let's say item.name. Yeah? But you don't have this item, you have to define it, right? So in your new thing here, you can say item is food item dot find params what? Food item ID. Yeah? This is still easy, right? So then you go to view, it's like that. It's like, hey, that's cool. Now we need a form. So very quickly, form for, form for what? Order, yeah? So let's create a new order in the controller here. Order is what? An item can have many orders, right? So maybe you can do order.new food item is item. Something like that. Yeah? Or you can do item.orders.build. It's the same. It's new. So you see this. It seems crazy now, but this is very common. Easier to read, right? You can only do that if you have food item has many order in here, yeah? You know. Oh, maybe we forgot, like, you know, username, name and address in an order. I forgot. You can add that. So I have this order as a new object, not saved to database yet. So in the new form here, so form for order do, it's a form, and I do it the bootstrap way, form group. In this we have what? f.label. The only thing we need is quantity here. So quantity, and then not label. What is that? Select maybe. So you can do select or text field. So for now I just do number field even. You can actually do number field. That's HTML5, and then you need a f.submit. If you just leave it nothing, it can understand create order or update order. So it's cool. Same thing here. Button, maybe primary. Here I have f label, quantity. Normally with Bootstrap you want this to be form what? Control. Alright, go home and add like name, address, phone number, what's up, right? So it's like that. Make sense? But now when you create order, so I add 1, 2, 3. Create order. What does it do? It submit to the create action, right? So we have to create the create action in here. Yeah? And you guys will have to learn that we just in Rails we have to due to security concern, you don't want to accidentally update certain column. Maybe you don't want, like user, if you update a user, there's an admin column in there. You don't want them to update that, right? So you have to whitelist the attributes you want to update. So I say params, I say require order, and then I say permit. I allow you to update my quantity. Later you can do phone number, username. Make sense? So now in create it's simple. Order is what? There's something that is weird here. Right? I still need my food item ID, right? Remember? So what to do? So I still need my food item ID somehow, like this. Okay, ask question if you're not clear here, and we're done immediately. And then I love to do something like this: item dot orders dot build, and then pass in order params. To be honest, it's the same as order dot new order params, which will update the quantity column. But in this case, it's just add one more thing, which is item, food item. But how can you have this in the URL? Remember, if we, okay, let's try, I just crash it right here. Obviously, it will crash here first. So let's try again. I submit the form, and it say cannot find food item. Why? Look at the params. Look at the params here. Order, quantity 1, 2, 3. Yeah, create order. So how do I pass? Who knows? Remember how when you do order / new, if you don't pass in anything, it will crash too. But because we never go there, we actually go to menu page and then we say add to order. So we have this food item ID. So you can do create order, submit to something like this. So let's do that. Custom our form. Here, form for this thing. It's convention over configuration again, because what happens here is there's a URL, there's a path. Technically, what automatically it submit to create. What's that? It submit a create, and then the path to the post to the orders / orders. So it's a create action, but it's just hidden, right? So now you can specify. You can say food item ID, item.id. Does it make sense? Okay, this one you might have to watch the video because it may not make sense anymore. But you can actually specify where the URL is going. But how does it understand? Let's check the code in this guy. New order. You see this line? The HTML is generated / orders, food item IDs. Yeah? And then everything else is submitted from the form. This is post data, the stuff that is submitted in the body, the params, but it's in the body. That is get. It's like it's submitted in the URL. Okay? So now if I submit now quantity 1, 2, 3, it's cool because I get to the hello page. Remember that hello page? I am able to create a new order from there. And with Rails, when you see this page, you should be happy. You should not be sad, right? Because here you can play with it. Look, oh, what is it? What is item? What is order? So there's a debugger right here for you. So order here is nil, food item is 1, nice. Quantity updated, nice. Now if I call order.save, then I'm done. Make sense? So with that, I go back here, go to controller, and here if order.save, we will check something, you know. Maybe we can send an email here. But then we say flash success. We send like, you know, what? Order is successful. Thank you for your order or something like that. Better. Thank you for your order. Here's the receipt. But for now, we just redirect to menu path. That's it. That's it. Yeah, and Rails, like, you know, you can actually do like that. So it's the same thing. It's just one line. It's really up to you. Yeah. Okay. So there's an even shorter way, but you know, I'm not gonna tell you, and then everyone goes crazy. So here, what happens if it cannot save? You want to render new. Whoa, that's cool. Let's see how it works. Let's render new. So when do you think it should not save? So I'm going to do an order here, right? So I'm resubmitting this page. Oops, up here. Up here, resubmit. It create and then pass. I haven't displayed the flash, but you guys will give the instruction to do that. But there's already one order. When you click here, you can maybe you can show how many orders so far. Yeah. But let's try again. If I don't select quantity. Okay. But down here, I do order. Go to the model, add validation, quantity, maybe presence true, numericality is true or something like that. I don't know. It must be a number. Yeah. So if you do this, it's just render this page back. But there's something in there you haven't shown the user. So you can show the user by going to this order new page, and then you can say if order.errors, yeah, it's an array. So if order or error, you know, it's anything, then you can display something like, you know, alert. Maybe I can even do orders dot say each. I don't know. Oh, actually, just display everything together. This is nice. Alert error, and I just display like order dot errors full messages to sentence. So it's full messages means different error messages, but I just do 2 sentences. It just add them together. That's like another Ruby thing to make it. It's a Rails helper. So sometimes you just refresh, and when you refresh on that, that's not good. So create cannot be blank, and quantity is not a number. Validation is done. It's just this line. Great. Alert, I think not alert error. What is it? Alert danger. All right. All right. So with that, you know how to create an order. You understand a little bit about validation, display the errors. We learned a lot here. So I'm sorry to keep you up. You see there's a food items ID up here. All of this is ugly. There's a nicer way to do it. Go to routes. All right, okay, I'm going to commit this first. So add order. Sorry guys. If I don't show you this one, maybe it's confusing. Show, what's that? Add order. One final thing. If you go home, read about nested routes. You can put food items under this one. Orders. Okay? If you do this, let's look at the routes. Rails-routes. Then you can do something like food items slash food ID slash order. So it looks nicer because, and then now the name path changed a little bit. It means from the menu page, now it starts to crash. Let's fix it. Menu, go here. It will crash because it doesn't know what new order path is. So what is it gonna be? New order path. Now you have to pass in new food item order path, and you pass in the object. It will understand. It will understand that this is the new order of that food item. And when you click here, it go to food item /1 /orders /new. So the resources is inside. Nice. But then the form complained because the same thing, right? Final thing here. In the form, what is that? This form, guys, order new, right? Remember, I customized this. That's an easier way to do it. You actually have to do food item, order path, and then you pass in the object just like that. Similarly, right? It's a bit shorter. There's an even shorter way. It means you just take the whole thing and you say form for this order inside this item. And you see this a lot for that. And then you're like, oh, now understand. And it's very smart. If it update, it will update. If it create, it will create. Okay? So this one, you might have to watch it again because that is like, I'm trying to teach you the whole week worth in this one lecture. Thanks, everyone. Go home and finish the homework.
Yep. What is different between free directory and random?